Yo, what up, Street Dogs? There, Kim. Alright, the thought. Appeal to your own aesthetics. So when it comes to your own personal aesthetics, ethics, how you do things, how you don't do things, whatever it may be, just appeal to what feels good to you, because ultimately there ain't no right or wrong way to do things. It's just different modes of appealing to yourself. So I know I have very particular aesthetics and ethics when it comes to almost everything, and certainly my opinion is just my opinion. What works for me isn't, and this is what I'm starting to realize more and more. Perhaps the best way to feel quote unquote successful is not to placate to the masses, not to go for numbers, but actually to become more elite. So like for me personally, I'd rather have like 3 very influential people admire and respect me than have, billions of random people, follow me or know who I am and stuff like that. And I'm almost starting to think too is that like perhaps the way that capitalism, consumerism, America works is that there's kind of this appeal towards the lowest common denominator, which means mass success is the best success in America. So for example, we got McDonald's, we got like, Dunkin' Donuts, whatever it may be. And certainly that it's good that there are these affordable things and stuff like that in the world, but I still kind of do feel that perhaps in some ways, like, and there's, once again, this is not just, there's no right or wrong, this is just in my opinion, like, I would rather drive a Lamborghini than drive a car that everyone else has. And actually, I'm such a huge fan of Tesla, Elon Musk, and things like that, but like, I actually don't want a Model 3, or I probably don't even really want a Tesla, because at this point, I feel like kind of like, at least, I mean, maybe my circle of friends or people I know, or just Bay Area in general, like everyone has a Tesla. And so in that way, you actually become more generic by just having a nice, toy that everyone else has. And the same reason too is that like, it's against my own personal aesthetics to even own an iPhone, even if it's, at this point I could buy like 1 trillion iPhones if I want to, but like to just have an iPhone, I almost feel like kind of another clone of everyone else who's, apparently into minimalism and stuff like that. And so I think for me, yeah, I actually prefer being different. And certainly, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not like that different from other people. And, I'm quite vain and into myself. And there are certain things about my own personal vanity that, at the end of the day, I'm still a consumerist like everyone else. And I'm not like that unique. But then, and so this is one thing I've discovered about myself is I try to be different when it comes to consumer goods. And, while I know it's kind of a vain and empty thing anyways, it's still one of those things where, like, I actually even remember in high school when all the kids were wearing Nikes, I wore Adidas. Now that everyone's wearing Adidas, I absolutely refuse to wear Adidas. And, I mean, once again, to attach your own self-worth or whatever to brand name things is kind of dumb and silly. But I mean, if I just observe my own personal behavior and my thinking patterns, it's kind of the same. But anyways, so when it comes to website design, I personally hate it when I go to other websites or watch YouTube videos with ads and pop-ups and stupid stuff like that. And so I've made it my own personal thing that, like, I have zero interest in putting ads on my YouTube channel or whatever, because I hate it when, other people have it. And the ethics when it comes to aesthetics is very simple. Don't do unto others as you don't like others to do unto you. And this is the funny thing with YouTube and everything in between is like, it's free. Like, if you're not paying anything for it, like, don't be worried that people are gonna complain, because people are like, oh, Eric, I don't like your videos because of X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, you're not paying for it. If you don't want to watch it, you just don't watch it. It's okay. Like, there's like a quadrillion things out there to watch and stuff like that. And so it becomes a little bit bizarre when it comes to, entrepreneurship and stuff like that, is that people's trying to exert control over how you do things because they think that your purpose of existence is just to please them, which I find very bizarre. And actually my thought about, you becoming a personality or sharing things with others is you're sharing with others out of a form of uber abundance, like you so cool and you so dope and you so awesome, and you're not sharing with others to just like have them like you. It's more of like, I'm so rich, wealthy, and overabundant that I cannot help but to share these things with others. And it kind of goes back to like Nietzsche with his thus spoke Zarathustra vibes, where he's just like, Zarathustra or Zarathustra, I don't even know how to pronounce the name. This literary philosopher that Nietzsche writes about, he's like in a cave somewhere philosophizing till he's like 40 years old, and he says, oh, I'm so over weary of my honey, like I'm like too constipated with all this honey and I need to go out there and just kind of share the honey that I've learned. And so that's also like my vibes too, is that like it is good for you to focus on yourself, focus on your own personal self-development. And once you do find a few things that you like or things that make you happy and stuff like that, then it's very joysome to share that with other people rather than just to hoard it for yourself. I mean, it's one thing to hoard for the sake of hoarding, and typically, at least in today's world with information and ideas and stuff like that, just because you share it with somebody doesn't mean that there's a loss to you. I mean, the pie is infinite at this point, and a lot of people are still thinking too basic, thinking that everything's zero sums, that like your success is going to be a detriment to me, but I'm like, yo, let me speak for at least for America or the world. There's like freaking 10 quadrillion people on this planet. Even being in America, I'm starting to realize more and more, man, there's a shitload of people who live here. Like I'm spending some time in Southern California right now, and like even driving around local, I'm like, there's so many goddamn cars and so many people out there that, yeah, like modern society is wonderful in so far much as you could kind of do whatever you want to do, and it's not really gonna bother anyone because people could just ignore you anyway. So my personal thoughts about art, entrepreneurship, things like that: be anti-mass market. Perhaps it's better and it's more tenable and feasible to strive to appeal to a small number of elite people. And when I say elite people, I'm not saying that like, not that people have to be like super rich or well educated or high class folks. It's more of like my notion of elitism or being elite. It just means, it doesn't matter how rich or poor you are. It's just like how, elevated or, woke you are, whatever, stuff like that. And trying to find the few small like tribe members who do vibe with you seems like a much more interesting way to live life, because and also, once again, it's not you're trying to appeal to a small group of elite people. It's just more of you honestly sharing your mind, your thoughts and your ideas and stuff like that, and then letting them come to you. But it's not like, people often say, oh, just build it and they will come. That's not necessarily true. It's just be as open, honest, and be the most undiluted version of yourself possible, and then share your ideas, your worth, your self-value with others. And then if they find you, they discover you, they like you, and they follow you, then that's good. But otherwise, you could let it be.